Wonderful beginning of your weekend. You're staying safe out there, practicing that hashtag social distancing. I am doing swell. I'm excited to get into some matches tonight. A little bit of a different style tonight. What we're going to do is look at some kind of best of highlights from the Premier League rounds 2 and 3. I think Mochaccino kind of went through those matches, kind of handpicked out some of them he thought would be the most entertaining. Kind of interesting. I like this to kind of highlight a whole bunch of different games when we have so many matches going on at once. It's a cool way to kind of get to a little bit of everybody. So yeah, we're not going to worry too much about scores and that sort of thing tonight. This is going to be a little bit more like a replay style show, except for we're looking at some high quality tournament matches here. And yeah, and guys, if you're playing, keep in mind that tomorrow is your deadline for round 2 and 3, so if you haven't completed those matches by now, please get after it. Finish those up by tomorrow at the latest, so we can keep things rolling with round 4. We've got a lot of people in this tournament, which is really great, so it is difficult to keep this thing like a well-oiled machine, especially with the virus going around. Again, I hope everybody's safe, washing your hands, not socializing when you don't have to. I don't think we have to. I don't have to tell you guys that, though. Us gamers are in paradise right now. We're like, what? Stay at home and play video games all the time? Fantastic. So, without any further ado, I kind of just launched it here. No intro or anything like that. So, I think we're just going to hop right into it. Am I supposed to be... I think Eel wants me streaming on the store when I can. Let me see. Could I just easily do that? I think I could pretty easily do that. Let's enable some broadcasting. Bam. Doom. Alright. Alright. So we should be coming live here on Steam as well. Maybe. I don't know if it's still going on, but we'll find out. Anyways, guys, we're gonna hop into some premier matches. We got a lot of good players lined up here tonight, so let us just hop right into it. Match number 1. Okay, spawning in the left, we've got Illuminatus, and his opponent to the right, Araloo. Let's take a look at these decks real quick. I think Araloo's deck is pretty awesome. These moles have been turning out to be a great counter or response to a fast expand, which is pretty interesting because that got very popular, and I think it, at the high level of play, was kind of figured out, well, if I could take a really quick gristmill and then I follow it up with a Warren in the right position, most builds I'm pretty safe against unless you're doing some kind of pre-8 farm type thing. And the new moles allow players to punish that sort of thing a little bit more effectively than they used to be able to. Of course, you are sacrificing something at home to do so. With bad Warren placement, for example, when you have your moles out in the middle of the map, you're kind of floating money, not necessarily really advancing your own base tech or mill-wise. However, that trade-off can be worth it in the amount of damage you get done. So we see Araloo here building this proxy mole, and I think this is a bit of his playstyle, and I actually really like this for science purposes, because this is something we got to figure out. And no, he decides, you know what, I think he was exactly looking to punish that fast expand because it is so popular, but Eel, maybe hip to that by now, decides, you know what, I'm going to take it a little slower. I'm going to get up to a few Warrens on my base before I decide to go straight into 2 base, and that was a very tempting 2 base, to be fair, by Eel. I mean, look at that. You can't really ask for a better natural expansion than the one presented here from Eel. And finally now he is going to take this base, but you notice he does have a few squirrels here, so a couple cheeky moles wouldn't necessarily be able to get in there and just annihilate that mill very quickly. And Araloo on his side of the map, no moles seen. He is just looking to get up to that tier 2, even flipping that Warren real quick to not halt the production on his farms or on his tier 2 Warren. I like that a lot. And we're going to build up into a decent decent mid-game here. Erlu, a couple mines out on the map. The one mine will let him know that Eel is moving out with some units. The second mine will just be useful in a direct engagement on his expansion there. And we've got a macro game on our hands. Both players just kind of building up on their warrens here, or on their mills, getting up to 3 farms. It's very important to understand exactly what your opponent is doing here. How many farms they're taking, how many tier 2 they're taking. Nice job by Eel clearing out that mine with the chameleon. That's free value right there. Even getting up to some quick falcons, which can be nice. You know, typically falcons are a little bit frowned upon in the super early game, but they're not bad when you have a nice front line to help deal with them. And the toads are going to be great a little bit later on when Erlu starts getting up to large amounts of chameleons or even some moles in there. What's going on, guys, in chat? Good to see y'all. What's up, everybody on Steam? I should be on the Steam store page here. So, let me see. Perhaps I am, perhaps I am not. I am not so sure. But regardless, we are here. Eel, moving in with some chameleons. Gonna take out a squirrel, get back to the shadow. That's a nice little bit of value as well there. And Eel's going for the boar. Has Erlu scouted? It's the big question. He actually hasn't. And from what Erlu can see at this moment, it just looks like Eel is macroing up. Both players here just going for that 2-base sat. This is a really important scout for Erlu. He will definitely be able to see this tier 3 because of how it's positioned. He knows it's coming now, but you don't have as much time to prepare as you used to. I mean, Erlu can, maybe get up some falcons here. Yeah, that's the move. Gonna try to grab a few more of those before this boar hits the board. He should have time, as the boar is about 45 seconds out still, which should be plenty of time to just barely get those falcons out. And Erlu even going for that 3rd base here. So Erlu just kind of wants to hold this push. I think Eel is really looking for a 2-base victory here. He's going to want to push out with this boar. You know, maybe even, I guess a backup plan Eel could do would be to build like some turrets here and try to grab that 3rd base perhaps. But typically this boar play is kind of all in. I don't know. It's hard for me to really say this is all in. If he can get out with the boar, that's great. And look at this. He's even really trying to build up to some falcons as well. So this kind of indicates to me he perhaps is not going to move out immediately with this boar. Instead, he's just kind of building it up, saying, hey man, you can't get a lot of tier 1, otherwise I'm just going to roast you. And let's see, I'm actually genuinely curious, now that Eel threw down so many tier 2, if he wants to move out here. Maybe he's going to come in and poke and prod, but he's not going to really hardcore commit. Nice job getting some mines, but this has actually really hurt the boar. The boar going down to 60 HP before the battle even starts. Erlu loses the commander, but his target fire on the boar is on point. Losing a falcon in the process, but that's a trade I'll gladly take. And overall, a nice little victory there for Erlu. However, this follow-up by Eel is kind of interesting. He wants to get up to a lot of falcons. He wants to get this boar back up. Maybe this turret will help buffer Erlu away for the time being. He's got a lot of falcons of his own here. Here's the big engage. Erlu trying to get that target fire down on his opponent's falcons. Eel doing the same. Pretty nice trade for both sides. It looks like Erlu is going to have a little bit more left over, but I think this is fairly even overall. Erlu doesn't have enough to come in here and push. Nice job re-stealthing that chameleon. I thought for sure that would go down, so yeah. Decent battle there. A little bit worse for Eel, but not game-ending. And we're going to continue forward. Now, this is where things get a little spicy for Eel. He needs to get a 3rd base up, or he needs to, at the very least, deny this 3rd base of his opponent, because Erlu's superior economy will take hold here soon. Eel moving forward, gonna try to mine sweep with this cam. Ooh, that's actually some value there for Erlu. Cams cannot take 2 mines and live. Oh, that was a big mine, and Erlu is gonna take the engagement there, while Eel's forces are a little bit bruised at the start of this, and this boar is not being incredibly useful here for Eel, as most of Erlu's forces are in the sky or in the tier 2. You know, this boar does a great job against heavy tier 1 armies, but Erlu, of course, knows that and is planning accordingly. He's building a lot of Falcons to counteract that. He's not going ham on the squirrels. And oh, wait a second. I kind of missed Eel really hard committing to that third base. He realizes he's got to deny it, but he doesn't get it. So that's massive for Araloo there. And now we're only down to the second base, and it's not going to last a whole lot longer until farms start going fallow there as well. So this is starting to look a little bit rough here for our community dev Eel. Going against arguably one of the strongest modern players, Araloo. I mean, this guy really understands the game. He's got a big StarCraft background. I think he's a Grandmaster player when he tryhards over there, and I love seeing that. We see a lot of great players in this game who will have big StarCraft backgrounds. I think QQ is pretty good at StarCraft. I'm not bad myself. We had Prince F in the scene for a while. I know guys like Classic Metal and DJ back in the day. We used to have a group of a lot of TnT players that were like really following the scene and stuff for StarCraft. So a lot of these guys coming over, and it makes sense because a lot of the principles of Tooth and Tail are like StarCraft. It's kind of like a StarCraft condensed kind of game. And here's Araloo coming back in with that big attack, gonna knock out that second base, and I think this is just gonna be curtains here for Eel. Nice try, you know, I liked his idea. I think it was weird to build all the Falcons with the boar attack. I think he would have been better off just letting out squirrels there. And I also think it was a little bit odd with the follow-up boar. And it was very unfortunate for Eel that he really committed hard to this third base here and wasn't able to take it out, so. Oh, are the levels not quite right? Oh yeah, you're right. Ah, my bad. They were louder than I thought. Thank you for catching that. That should be better. That should be a lot better. Okay. Yeah, I apologize. My wife was streaming on my computer and messed with some of my settings, so I thought I'd put them all back together correctly and did not. So what is Eel up to? He's not out of this yet. This is a tournament match here. He's gonna try his best to get this W any way he can. Araloo's got the better standing army, looking to pick off the vagrant forces here of Eel. Just the surviving units of his army, trying to run over here and get something going. But it's not going to be enough. Eel does tap out. And GG. Nicely played from both sides. Let me just do a quick check on this team broadcast. I see that I'm live. Okay, I am live on the store, and it does say story mode, but this is not story mode. This is Tooth and Tail. This is competitive. I wonder how I change that. I wonder how I change my broadcast settings. Change broadcast settings. Let me press that button. Do 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 do. I have no idea. I have no idea. Eel's gonna have to help me. It's not story mode, but it is story time with Delthius here. Okay. Alright. Alright, I can't figure it out. I give up. So, Araloo versus Illuminatus. That was the highlights match for that set. And it looked like Araloo went on to win that series 3-0. And let's hop into the next match here. I am such a pro streamer, absolutely. The most pro. Okay, in the left we've got Blue Coon, and over on the right we've got Mochaccino. Both players rocking the exact same deck here. That's kind of hilarious, but it looks like a good one. I mean, Squizzard is pretty tried and true in this meta. I think there's definitely an argument for Mole. You know, Mole seems viable. Chameleons are still great. Falcons are still great. You know, Falcons are kind of one of those units that can exist after a nerf just because the role that they fill is so important. Like, just having that one... You know, Falcon's an interesting choice in the deck because not only does it grant you high ground vision, which can make or break certain scenarios. You know, for example, if I've got some Falcons, I can come over here and be a jerk and come in and attack, you know, from the side, or for example over here do the same thing. They give you that late game scalability, which I kind of like paired up with the boar, because the boar is more of an early to mid-game tier 3. The boar is looking to punish players who try to build too much tier 1, which is not unseen, not unheard of in the modern meta. Mass lizards is pretty viable, and we've even seen mass moles are really like squirrel or lizards, and then you back them up with a lot of moles as a pretty viable option as well. Neither player going for that quick expand. Instead, Mochaccino grabbing a tier 1 into tier 2. Meanwhile, Bluecoon is going to answer that with a whole lot of his own tier 1. Neither player has really gotten the scout off on each other yet. Bluecoon's going to come in. Let's see if he can see the tier 2. And he sees it, which is very nice. You also kind of want to know what tier 2 it is, but you got to take what you can get. Meanwhile, Mochaccino probably did, yeah, Mochaccino saw the triple tier 1, and interestingly enough, Bluecoon gonna swap out of one of those, get that tier 2 up early. I like this a lot. Neither player opting for that quick expand, but the expands are a little bit awkward because of the ramps of the mains, but not as awkward as they might seem, because, you know, if I'm Mochaccino, I can set up shop right here, you know, start defending this area, and I'm good to go. Yeah, it is kind of hard to get my units from my main base or vice versa, but you shouldn't really need to. You should start just trying to control this area. And same could be said here for Bluecoon. He's got to run his forces all the way around this ramp to get out here. However, if I'm taking this expansion, I'm looking to control this area in general anyways. And what is kind of cool, actually, is there is a little sneaky path here. I'm not sure if we'll see that come into play, but both players do have lizards, so in situations like that, I often try to point out the backdoor capabilities on the map. Oh, this almost looked like one, but there's that little fence there. Lizards do not trespass. Mochaccino finally taking this tier 1, but I think it's a bait tier 1 as he's going into the boar here. And he's just trying to buy time. But if you're Bluecoon, you haven't seen the tier 3, but if an opponent doesn't have an expansion by now, you're getting curious. Something's going on. You know, and Bluecoon finally takes his own. Mochaccino does have a gristmill, but I think it's a little bit of a distraction mill. I don't think he's going to intend on ecoing up until he has to if the boar push doesn't just end the game. But at the same time, if you're Mochaccino, you haven't seen any real investment to macro from Bluecoon either. I think Mochaccino has seen the double tier 2, but look at this. Bluecoon going into his own tier 3. So both players trying to pull the boar fast one on one another. And it's working thus far. Nice job here from Bluecoon. Trying to deal some damage. Snipe a free mill. Definitely worth the try. Didn't cost him anything to do that. Lots of mines coming out here. Mochaccino's going to see the mines this time around. I'm not sure if Mochaccino's aware of this little blap of 3 right there. That could be awesome too, by the way, if the board just starts prancing on in and just runs right over those 3 mines. That'll basically kill the boar. It won't kill it completely, but it'll deal a lot of damage. What's the damage that a mine deals to the main target? Isn't it like 20? I think I saw that boar hit 2 mines earlier, go down to 60. Ooh, these mines can be absolutely huge. Mochaccino knows there's mines right there, too. He saw them go down, but he must have forgot about them, and he knows about these. Does he? Oh, my God. Those mines killed so much stuff. Only the boar remains here for Mochaccino as Bluecoon comes in. Very nicely done. However, that went not as bad as it looked like it should have for Bluecoon, or for Mochaccino, rather. That boar bomb really helped clean things up, and he's got so many tier 1. This is kind of nice. He can sell off the boar warden and just reinforce with those very fast building tier 1 units very quickly. However, this might bite him in the rear as Bluecoon is moving out with a boar, and boars love to flamethrower tier 1 units. That is what they're designed to do, on top of the crazy structure damage as well. And here we go, the boar moving in. Mochaccino trying to get the target fire. He gets the boar very low, but the tier 1 is getting roasted. The boar at 11.9 HP, 7.5. Bluecoon almost gets it away, but nice job from Mochaccino cleaning that boar up, eating bacon for dinner. But it wasn't the most cost-effective engagement ever for him, and Bluecoon's got enough leftover units to try to come in here. At the very least, he denies this building farm from Mochaccino, which is great because now Bluecoon's got a farm up against him. He's going to deny this base now. That 1 HP Chameleon is definitely gonna get a medal after this one. Mochaccino looking to cut off the reinforcements, but Blue Coon holding that chameleon button down, not letting them de-stealth, and they're gonna regenerate nice and quickly in the shadows there, thanks to that bonus reptilian regeneration rates. And Mochaccino's just going straight Squizzard from here. I like it. It's something his economy can afford. He's gonna try to defend this campfire, but these cams do such good work in small engagements like this. And this might just be GG for the tournament organizer here. Mochaccino, nicely done by Blue Coon. And tip of the hat to Mochaccino for showing off a game where he lost, since I believe he's the one who handpicked these replays. And Blue Coon did eventually go on to win that series. And I'll repeat the message a couple times tonight, guys, but play your round 2 and 3 matches if you haven't. Those are due tomorrow. I know we get busy and stuff, but contact your opponent if you're in the tournament. Make sure you've got your round 2 and 3 matches finished so we can keep things moving and grooving. Your tournament organizers would thank you. Okay, let's rock and roll into match number 3. On the bottom left, we've got Haru. His opponent to the right, Yop, or Iris. We shall call him Iris. Iris rocking them owls. I like it. Meanwhile, Haru's got this kind of bruiser comp. 3 tier 1, 3 tier 2. Let's go. I like this comp from Haru a lot. Not running the chameleons, but he's got skunks. You know, I think chameleons and skunks kind of serve a similar role as like a little bit of the beefier direct engagement kind of tier 2s. If you're new to Tooth and Tail, kind of scratching your head, experimenting with different build compositions and stuff, that'd be a little advice from old Delthius here, is don't leave home without at least chameleons or skunks. I think they're a solid tier 2 unit that really gives you the flexibility to play around with other things. Like, you know, if I have a skunk or a chameleon in my deck, then I probably feel safe enough to put something like snakes or ferrets, you know, something a little more fun, or fills a different role, I should say. You know, and Haru's kind of got a nice basis covered here. He's got Squizzard plus Pigeon Skunk for a little bit of that classic this guy action. Just kind of modernized, you know, a very powerful one base tier 2 centric push. He's got snakes, which are fantastic at dealing with other tier 2, at dealing with tier 3. He's got that falcon to go into the late game. Meanwhile, Iris only rocking the squirrels, which is a little bit unique, I think, nowadays, with lizards and moles being as powerful and viable as they are. Rocking just squirrels is definitely a statement, but he's got chameleons to back it up. I like that a lot. Chameleons really help fill the hole in your builds. You know, it's just such a powerful unit. You can kind of get away with a little bit more craziness when you've got that chameleon to round yourself out with. And again, snakes and falcons for similar reasons, but Iris does have the tier 3, and I like it a lot. This is a good patch for players to be experimenting more with the tier 3 on. You know, now that we got that 10-second reduction in build / Warren time. So it's a good opportunity to get that tier 3 out. Those 10 seconds makes a huge difference in Tooth and Tail when it comes to forging a timing attack, or I'm trying to get a tier 3 and my opponent scouts it. Okay, they're going to attack me and try to bust in. Well, I'm going to have that tier 3 unit 10 seconds earlier than I used to, which can definitely make... Honestly, that's enormous. Like, as a player who's done quite a bit of one base foxing where I just like hold off and lose like half my stuff, but then I get the fox out and try to win, like having that fox out 10 seconds earlier can make a huge difference. You know, now I can save more warrens and that kind of thing. But you know, we haven't really seen a lot of crazy tier 3 timing attacks evolve yet. You know, we still see the boar one base or 1.5 base timings. And speaking of attacks, here comes Iris with a nice, with a dozen squirrels, a snake, pretty similar comps on both sides. However, Haru is a little bit leaner as he was trying to get out to that quick tier 2, but with this defender's advantage, I think he's going to be okay. I believe Haru lost 2 snakes there and Iris only lost 1. Nice attack by Iris, but Haru's definitely still in this, and Haru is going to have his reward here shortly in the form of double tier 2 out. 3 farms from both sides. Haru going to come in and try to get that scout off. Nice little sell from Iris there. Doesn't want Haru to get any information that he doesn't need to see. Knowing is more than half the battle in Tooth and Tail. Tooth and Tail is it's actually a very, very strategic RTS. I know that's a weird thing to say, but strategy is 90% of it. You know, really, because you can sell things, you can send false signals. I can build a tier 3 Warren. My opponent comes in and scouts me. I sell it and I build 5 tier 1 and I push in when he thinks he's got time to he's got basically 2 minutes until I come in, or a minute and a half rather. So things like that can make a really big difference in Tooth and Tail. You know, it's real easy to get caught up in just kind of building stuff, and you're like, oh, I'm going to attack just because I feel like attacking, or let me just kind of build up. You know, I do it too, but I think what really separates like the good players from the best players is the ability to read the opponent and just constantly scouting and constantly counting. You know, you can compare what you have to they do, right? So if I have 4 tier 1 Warrens, I come in and I scout them, they only have 2. I know they're missing 120 food. What are they doing with that? Are they trying to build up to a tier 3? You know, they have a sneaky base on the map. Or are they getting out of tier 2 Warren? That kind of stuff is absolutely monumental. So we're in a bit of a lull. It's kind of interesting that we're getting to a macro game with this map because it's so short. Nice scout there by Iris, looking for anything crazy like a tier 3 Warren. You know, look at these bases. They're right on top of each other. It's a shame that nobody has static defense here. That'd be perfect. You know, imagine a balloon or, God forbid, an artillery cannon here. Would be absolutely insane. Even some barbed wire would be nice. But they have snakes, which is about as much sieging as they can do. For the current moment. Here's trying to build into some chameleons. Meanwhile, Haru, nice job, by the way, scouting these corner bases, and Iris even taking that top one, but he needs to get home. He gets home just in time for the beginning of this engagement. Microwing is incredibly important here as both players are trying to target down those key tier 2 units from the other side. And it looks like maybe Haru is going to take this? It's a pretty even trade, actually, as the reinforcing units are coming in. What's funny is, like, Defender's advantage is a little bit null and void on this map because it's just so damn close. Like, Iris's rally is, yeah, it's pretty instant, but, I mean, look at Haru's distance. It's right there, too. Hey, Woody Pun, a.k.a. Big Pimpatosh. What's going on, man? Thanks for the raid. Welcome. We are taking a look at the best of Premier League rounds 2 and 3. Trying to get that third base is Haru, but as he's out and about to scout, Iris coming in and going to really capitalize on this unmicroed army here, knocking out so many squirrels. Very cost effectively, but the rest of Haru's forces are here, and maybe Iris has been a bit too cocky. He wants to get home with these tier 2 units still alive if he can, and he turns around. Oh, he's gonna kill that skunk. He traded it for his falcon, though. His snake goes down as well. This is looking rough. This actually might do some damage here from Haru, and yes, indeed it will, and Iris knows it. Taps out. Haru takes the map. Now that we've got more people here, guys, a friendly reminder from your tournament organizers. Finish your round 2 and 3 matches, please, if you have not already. Those are due tomorrow. I feel like the professor for the class. Like, turn your homework in by tomorrow. You know, it's a lot of fun. We don't want to stress anybody out or anything, but we got to keep these deadlines rolling to keep this tournament moving nice and squeaky clean. And it's not an easy feat, man. We got a lot of people in this event, so please help us out, guys. Double check, make sure you've played your round 2 and 3 matches, and if not, get those knocked out by tomorrow. Pretty please. And without further ado, let us continue into Haru versus Yop match 2. What's up, Altpa? Good to see a Peach in the chat. On the right, we've got Iris. And his opponent up top, Haru. Okay, this is from the same series. Again, we're not too worried about series scores and stuff tonight. What they decided to try this time around was just kind of doing the best of. I think Mochaccino went through these matches, tried to pick out the most entertaining ones. And because everybody knows what the scores are already, they've been posted. So we're just kind of looking at some of the best of matches from rounds 2 and 3 in the Premier League here. Same decks. So let's see. Wait, are they the same or... I think they're the same. Yes, I was confused for a minute. I think Iris had the owl last time. I just wasn't sure if Haru was the player with the owl last time, but I believe it was Iris. So we got A-Farm openings. Again, Iris with just only squirrels. I find fascinating. You know, lizards being so strong, moles being so strong. Hell, I'm actually probably going to experiment dropping squirrels and just running like lizard mole, for example. It's it's interesting. It feels bad if the opponent, like if it goes too long. I think like a lizard mole tier 1 comp would be good for the early to mid game, but I think you get punished for it a little later on when we get to stuff like falcons or owls hitting the board. I'm trying to think in what situations would you rather have squirrels. I mean, they're much better at defense, obviously. They're kind of better at dealing with falcons when the numbers get too big. You know, I think lizards do a good job hopping up on those falcons in small skirmishes, but when you get up to like 8 or 10 falcons, you know, and they got a good front line for them, it might be a little more difficult. Both players here go for A-Farm, into tier 1, into tier 2. Gonna try to get out some quick snakes. That's a pretty popular. Oh yeah, I think it's popular enough. First pick for tier 2. I think you see the chameleons a little more often, but snakes are kind of like a more battle ready ferret. You know, if you want to get in, it's kind of dangerous to start off with ferrets because they just don't contribute as much to the main fight. But snakes are a little bit of that middle ground, right? Like you can come in, you can do some poking and prodding, some harassing with the snakes, try to get some value. But they can also pack a punch in that main engagement a little bit better. So we got a macro game on our hands. Not the fastest expansions in the world. And again, we haven't been seeing those like 8-farm into Gristmill into tier 1, like fast expand that we have seen traditionally for the past couple months in Tooth and Tail. And I think it is because the moles. I think you got to respect the moles now, right? Because you used to be able to go 8-farm into mill into tier 1, and unless your opponent's like 5-farm doubling you or something, they can't really punish it if you've positioned everything right. But the moles break that rule. The moles can absolutely screw up your fast expand. So I think that might be why we see these players, even though they want to go for a macro game, kind of taking it a bit slower, you know, getting out some units, making sure they're safe. What's up, Crybuckets? Good to see y'all in the chat. Obscution, Premium Bow. You're all lovely nerds. Okay, Haru getting out some skunks. This is actually kind of mirror builds here, so what's going to be most important for these players is to keep track of how many farms are building on each other's natural here. That's a good indicator, because it's going to start getting harder to get a full scout into your opponent's base. And actually, from what Iris just saw there, he saw 2 tier 2, he saw the skunks, he saw the snakes, he saw 4 farms, and that's really all he needs to know, because he can kind of judge how much money he has, and he knows, okay, he's got roughly the same thing that I do. So unless he's really cutting corners on the tier 1, there isn't a possibility of him getting out of tier 3 or anything. We got a little bit of a skirmish here in the middle of the map. Haru is pressing in. Iris on the retreat. Retreating is typically a very bad thing to do in Tooth and Tail. And Haru getting that gas spread like he's looking for. I think this is going well for Haru, but Iris is starting to get those poison tags. However, his snakes go down, and this is a huge victory here for Haru. He's got, oh man, that one snake goes down to the poison, but he won that fight with 2 tier 2 left over. He basically cleared the board of his opponent. He's going to try to push back in here, but I don't know if he won by enough to really get over that defender's advantage, especially with some of his units rallying around this way. That's a bit unfortunate, kind of losing some tier 1 where he doesn't necessarily need to. Man, we need to tell DJ Soak about the new moles, man. What do you think, Abscuchin? Do you think that'll get him? You think that'll get him to play a couple matches? Be like, look, bro, you can 5-farm mole people again. What's up? Get a DJ versus Chip match going. That'd be classic. All right, this is looking good for Haru. That counter follow-up, I think Haru kind of overstayed his welcome a little bit there. You know, putting Iris back in this. And actually, as I say this is looking good for Haru, actually, I think he did overextend, which is unfortunate because he took such a good engagement here. But when he came up top, Iris was able to defend that nicely. Iris counterattack, even knocking out a pig there. Iris pulling ahead on those farms, which is huge. And no tier 3 for Iris just yet, but he might be thinking about it. Might be time. Might be time to throw down that. Oh, look. Oh, Iris. Iris. He had 180 food. He even built it up here on the high ground. I was definitely expecting an owl, but no, just more falcons. Definitely safer. Trying to come in here and get that scout. Sees the cabin, checking for a third. No third base. Gonna look around, see if he can spot any kind of tier 3. Doesn't see it. Gonna go ahead and go home. Of course, Iris does not know that Haru is not running any tier 3 at all in his deck. So at this phase of the game, you have to really be looking out for that tier 3 transition, that third base transition. And we get to a bit of a cold war sometimes, as both these players are kind of approximately the same on army value here. And it's rough, because if you attack into your opponent, they have defender's advantage, right? So it doesn't really behoove you. I think what you want to do is try to poke around the edges. This is where lizard run-bys can be very nice. You know, take your pack of lizards, try to run back here and get some of those juicy warrens. But of course, that does put you out of position. But here comes Iris moving in. He's hoping he could just take a better engagement. And again, like we saw last game, the defender's advantage is not huge because since we're kind of fighting right here, like the reinforcement rally for both sides is about the same distance. DJ probably sensed a ripple in space-time when the patch notes came out. I hope so, man. I should message him on Discord. No, what I gotta do is I gotta get a replay of me like 4-farm double moling somebody, you know? And just slide that into his DM. Just be like, hey man, check this out. You know, almost like a shady drug dealer or something. Hey man, I got some mole matches for you. Oh god. Alright, yeah, this is... Well, Haru's just going to clear this campfire. It's unfortunate for him that there's not really any attack path. There's no ramp or anything right here for him to be able to do anything cheeky with these lizards. Iris doesn't really have any kind of units that could do that sort of thing. Oh, man, I would love to see Iris, or Haru, rather, really abuse this, that double high ground there, but I think that ship sailed. Doesn't have anything like ferrets or balloons. The snakes and the falcons could mess him up, but actually, with how tiny that is... that would not be good, because concave versus convex situation would happen there. But, oh, look at this, I love it. Iris is like, whatever, man, I'm tired of waiting around, just comes in. That is so much damage, and he's just going to try to run away, but I think he should have held his ground. Now his units are all clumped up here in this choke. Haru's got so much better surface area here. He should just be obliterating through. Oh, man, Iris really should have just stood his ground. Like, I liked that preemptive damage, right? Like, before the fight even started, he knocked out a couple Warrens. And if you're kind of new watching this on Steam or in the Twitch chat, Warrens are what produce units, right? That's like your barracks or something. So he comes in before the fight starts, snipes a few units, but he got caught up in the classic concave versus convex RTS situation. All his units clumped up, can't find their own tile to shoot from, and Haru just murdered him there. I think he could have held his ground right there. But, you know, it's easy for me to say that, right? And I think that's all the Haru versus Iris matches we have. Let me see how that series eventually went to Haru. 3-0, in fact. Okay. We got some matches here from Kalaru and James. These guys are very entertaining players to watch. Let's hop into it. In the bottom, we've got Kalaru. Alright, and in the top, we've got James. Alright, man. Fox Balloon, let's go. I'm hyped. I'm so hyped. These are such weird decks, man. Kalaru, what is going on here? Okay, Turret, Boar, Falcon, Mine. I don't even know what to say about that. Like, no lizards, no chameleons, no skunks, no nothing like that. What is Kalaru gonna do? He's got the MGs, he's got the mines, but I don't see how the MGs really synergize with the rest of the deck here. Maybe it's to turtle up and guarantee he can get that boar out. Maybe it's just kind of there in case he can contain his opponent. You know, if you get a proper contain going, you got some squirrels and MGs, that's really all you need. 5 farm lizard coming out from James here. Very aggressive player, always entertaining to watch. Kalaru did see that and responds correctly with his own 5 farm double. I would argue Kalaru could have got away with a 6 farm double here. Got a bit of an eco lead. I like these mines coming out too. Are those mines enough to stop James? Because James did see... Oh wow, James saw both of them building. That is very nice for him. He's going to get these 4 lizards. I just don't think he's going to get anything done. You know, Kalaru sniffed it out. Kalaru responded correctly. Oh, but Kalaru was a little bit greedy. He sold off one of those warrens. That's huge. He only had a couple squirrels here, and they weren't in the right position. James able to snack on some bacon there for the price of only 1 lizard. That's a trade I'll take any day of the week. And James is going to keep this aggression going. He doesn't have a lot of attack paths here. Kalaru's base is a little bit tucked into the bottom of the map here. There's no ramp over here. James is kind of looking for that right now with his lizards. And he is going to find another pig while Kalaru's out scouting. That is huge. Absolutely huge. If I was Kalaru, I'd be very flustered. Look at this. He's got so much money tied up into these mines as well. Each of those mines is 20 bucks. He'd be much better off spending that money somewhere else. And I'm super hyped that James has the Fox. The Fox is, as most of you know, my personal favorite unit. I also really like the balloons and the siege tactics as well. Gonna grab this campfire, which to me is an indication that James wants to stay on 1 base. You know, this campfire is equivalent to 1 farm, so it's essentially just giving you a little bit of a boost. Kalaru, what are you doing, man? Dude, Kalaru's just memeing here. This is... No. Absolutely not. This does not get the Delthius stamp of approval here. Oh, but he's got the boar! Okay, never mind. It absolutely does. Oh my god, this is hilarious. James saw it too, didn't he? Oh, man. Like, he can just run his units around. Okay, this absolutely gets the Delthius stamp of approval. What am I talking about? 8 farm boar? Let's see it. Tier 3 on the way. What's James's response? He's going to take this... Oh, okay, I see what he's doing. He's going to take this second base. He's going to put a balloon up, like, right here or something. And that balloon will counter that boar pretty effectively. I'm surprised James didn't take the bait from Kalaru and try to run in on this Tier 3. Oh, but the Tier 3 warren gets sold. Kalaru, you're such a tease. I actually like this a lot. This is going to foil the plans. Because look at this from James. He's going into... boar counters here. Look, Kalaru's probably very tickled. This is some really high-level mind games, to be honest. Like, the snakes are out, the balloon's out. These are all tools to deal with this boar. Well, the boar ain't coming. Instead, 30 squirrels are coming. What a crazy match. Now, I am worried, because James has this campfire, and that is huge. That's a 12% increase in economy. And he's going to have the money advantage. And Kalaru's going to have to find the right angle to come in. Now, James still thinks that the Tier 3 is here, and it is most certainly not. But James should also be starting to get curious, as the boars should have been moving out by now. Look at all these squirrels. The snakes are not good against the squirrels. The balloons are not the best against squirrel either. Let's see if Kalaru can get this done. Zap Brannigan style. Oh my god, Kalaru! Alright, listen. I doubted you. I doubted the Kalaru for a second there. But that was some genius tooth and tail play. Absolutely phenomenal here. I think Kalaru needs to push back a little bit. No, he's going to continue to rally forward. Yeah, I think this is definitely a mistake because Another advantage of having tier 1 is that they only take, I think, like 10 seconds to build. So you have all these Warrens. He's got 10 Warrens out. So every 10 seconds, that's another squirrel hitting the board. I mean, that is so many units. If he's just gotta, he can't go in like lemmings there. He's gotta let them kind of build up, and he can come in for another big attack. He's just gotta target down those snakes. And here we go. James is backing up. He doesn't want to take this engagement. He wants to do a little bit of poking with these snakes before it starts, but one snake going down to half HP gets a few tags. Nice job here from James trying to tag as many different squirrels as possible with these snakes, and it's actually working out. Kalaru was not able to target down these snakes, and James signed my mouse pad, dude. Holy crap. One snake still remaining here with 2 HP. That was phenomenal play by James. Very, very good micro. Getting all those individual tags in. I was really surprised Kalaru was not able to focus fire down those snakes a little bit more effectively there. I'd have to review the engagement, but maybe he didn't really prioritize that up front. He thought he would just roll over his opponent, but James coming in with the lizard counter attack. Might get some damage done here. There are a few squirrels in position. Yeah, gonna go home. Nice attempt. And we gotta start looking at the economy here because this is kind of getting wonky. We're a little bit stuck in tier 1 chicken. You know, it gets kind of deadly to try to tech out of this if your opponent just continues to build more and more tier 1. But I think James has taken enough good engagements and started trading effectively enough where he's gotten the upper hand. I think Kalaru had a wonderful mind game tech switch earlier on where he built just all that mass squirrel when his opponent was expecting boar. But James has done a good job coming back since then. The snake micro has been top tier. Of course, we'd expect to see that from our Premier League players. And this might be a victory here for King James. I don't know if we can call him King James anymore. But he was the champion for quite a while. P-Boop immediately calling me out. You can't call him King James anymore. Alright, Kalaru's starving. Gonna tap out. To James. Nicely done. Nicely done by James there. Really impressive comeback after that big victory for Kalaru in the early game. Well, we've actually got a lot of James versus Kalaru tonight. So let's keep it moving. Let me make sure everything's okay on Steam. We are also on Steam, on the Steam store page. What's up, everybody? If you have any questions about the game, feel free to ask. I will answer to the best of my ability. Let's keep going. James versus Kalaru. Another one here. Another one made the best of. This is the best of tapes for round 2 and 3. Over in the bottom left, Kalaru stealing my heart with some ferrets. And in the top, we've got James rocking the artillery. I love these decks, man. These are some really cool, innovative decks. They might seem off meta, they might seem wonky, but you got to do that sort of thing at the highest level of play. You know, the last thing you want to do, keep in mind we're kind of looking at the best of matches from several best of 5s in a tournament. The last thing you want to do is bring the same deck composition over and over and over. Once I find out what you're going for, then I can adjust and build my deck appropriately. This time around, we see James as the lone squirrel player here. Oh, here we go. Here's that 6-farm mole. Oh, what is James doing? Oh, he knows something's wrong, but he hasn't quite put it together yet. He was waiting to see what's happening. One mole gonna come out and gonna get some value there. 8. Okay, so he got 30 food, and he lost 8. So, nice little advantage there for Kalaru. Man, those instant build moles are insane. It's kind of cool to see him move out with just the one. I think what a lot of people are doing is moving out with 2. You know, you get the instant mole, you wait 10 seconds, you get another mole, you got 2 of them right there. We're going to go into some 8-farm doubles after this. Map looks okay for both sides. You know, James has a nice second base, a nice third base, and the same can be said here for Kalaru, bases 2 and 3. I like Kalaru's position a bit better. I like being up on the high ground here. Then again, so is James. Oh my god, and James can even set up an artillery right here, and basically in spitting range of this expansion. So this could be a pretty spicy mid-game, depending on how this pans out. James going for those quick chameleons. That's something nobody should be surprised about. Kalaru, though, has 6 lizards, wants to keep this aggression on. But I think plenty of squirrels are here to defend. James can trade these lizards for the Warren, is going to do so, which is a nice tempo play, but he didn't really get anything value-wise. I think 3 lizards died there for the Warren. That's the same cost, but it does slow James down. And it's also nice to keep your opponent on edge. Look at this Kalaru getting bonus points from me from actually using the water healing. So many people don't use that, and it triggers me every single time. I'll see like a low badger, like right here. I'm like, just put it in the water. Lots of lizards here from Kalaru, but James has got the chameleons. Chameleons do fantastic against the lizards, deal fantastic against tier 1 in general. And James going to move out here, try to put on some pressure of his own. I don't think James has really gotten a good scout in a while. He's been on the back burner here from Kalaru, who's just massing up tier 1. And double tier 2 is a phenomenal move here by James in this situation. These skunks are going to do great. I wouldn't have even hated to see... I'm sorry, the chameleons are going to do great. The skunks would have been good too, but the skunks are not as good against lizards since they can run out of that gas cloud a little bit faster. Okay. Alright, Kalaru moving forward. Wants to get something done. James taking multiple bases here. Kind of interesting. I think this makes sense because I think he's gearing up for the base trade. You know, when you get this many lizards out, the base trade is a very real possibility for the lizard player. Look at these cams. Just going to work on all this tier 1. But Kalaru's got enough. That double tier 2 investment might have been a bit too greedy here by James. Not to mention this extra 120 food in these mills that are doing absolutely nothing. And Kalaru's calling him out on it, man. Just building straight tier 1, you gotta be careful. You cannot afford to mess around with things like extra grist mills. And that timing was phenomenal to punish James before he was able to get up to all that tier 2. Okay. Let's keep it moving and grooving into the next game here. On the bottom, we've got James. And to the top right, Kalaru. Badger and Owl here. The Badger wins that tier 3 rock, paper, scissors, but we haven't really seen that matter in like a year, to be honest. Like, it used to be a thing between the Badger, Fox, and Owl, where it was like, okay, Fox beats Badger, Badger beats Owl, Owl beats Fox, but it doesn't really come down to that 9 times out of 10. It really, as weird as it sounds, like army composition isn't as important in Tooth and Tail as a lot of people think it is. It's really more about builds, right? Like, it's really about identifying what build order your opponent's doing and punishing it. You know, if I find a way to be very greedy against my opponent because I feel like I can get away with it, he's going for a double tier 2 up front, I put 4 farms on an extra base, you know, I can get out mostly whatever I want with that economic lead. I mean, of course there's unit counters, of course certain comps work better and synergize than others do. But if we get into a late game position here, Kalaru could certainly win with the Owls against the Badger. I'm not really worried about that at all. Personally, I'd like to have the Badger better myself. I like the Badger and the Fox. I actually like using all the tier 3, to be honest. I'm a big fan of tier 3 in general. We got an Expo opening from both sides here. A couple mines from Kalaru saying, stay on your side of the map. Has James seen it? Yeah, James must have seen these mines because he's moving up with just a single squirrel. Oh, no. Yeah, actually, I figured he'd try to ignite those mines or set them off. Detonate is the word I'm looking for. But no, he just walked around it, wanted to poke and prod. Why is he building a turret? What's going on here? Being very safe. His opponent's got just as many, like, he doesn't need this turret here. He's only got 1 farm above his opponent. Look at this. Kalaru even going for more farms. In general, you want to stay like 1 farm ahead of your opponent. And MGs build so quickly that you can kind of build them on demand. You don't need them sitting around. You know, right when you need it, you can build it. But this is another case of very, very close rush distances. So I guess I don't hate... yeah, there it is. There's the cell. Okay. Like, if this map was bigger, for example, or if the spawn was farther, if my opponent was up here and I go and scout and then I say, uh-oh, they're moving out with an attack, I build MGs in response to hold on. Here's Kalaru with that big bad tier 3, though. James really needs to scout this. At tier 3 this early in the game must be scouted. You can kind of infer... oh my god, is he gonna get it, James? 1 HP left. That is so huge. That is enormous. Great scout from James. Now he can adjust accordingly and get out those extra falcons. He can steer clear of units like toads. I wouldn't even hate to see like a turret or 2 near the front lines to try to buffer against the mice. I think that's pretty cost effective with squirrels backing it up and stuff. No wonder he's a real king. Oh man, does he not know about these mines? Oh my god, this could be devastating. Okay, he knows. Oh, just want to set off 1. 2 mines would kill that little poor skunk there. Getting his own tier 3 out in the form of a badger, and it is going to be a little bit behind, but not by a whole lot. Like, Kalaru's tier 3 is going to be out in like 20 to 25 seconds. The badger's about a minute away, so I think Kalaru's owl is like half a minute ahead of the badger. And yeah, with a couple turrets here to buffer against the against the mice coming out of the owls, this is good. And he's gonna have the badger, which does do better against the owl. What Kalaru really has that could do good against the badger are the mines, the lizards, the falcons. The badger walks into this minefield and just dies. It's just a dead badger. Okay, so those of you who are new or perhaps watching on Steam or something like that, the owl continuously produces these free mice unit that can just go out and get value. Meanwhile, the badger is a highly microable unit with a Gatling gun that kind of revs up. And once it revs up from firing enough, it just deals crazy damage. It can move and shoot at the same time. Double badger here from James. So the owl is kind of the king of the hyper late game, because once you stack up 3, 4, 5 of these bad boys, you get so many free units. You can just run over your opponent. But the badger is definitely the playmaker. If James has some good control here, he even throws in a couple toads to deal with these mice up front. Here's the big push in. This badger getting so low to the falcons immediately. Only 5 HP left. Is this badger going to go down? It does. What a great engagement here from Kalaru. And this is exactly what I was talking about, where, you know, the tier 3 rock, paper, scissors isn't as real. Oh my god. So many mines. Real as people think. You know, these falcons do such a good job. You know, Kalaru effectively, I think, in my book, it felt like he won that. Maybe I'm wrong. According to the army graph, I'm wrong. But knocking out that badger is huge. And Kalaru is even going to sell that Warren and try to reinforce with tier 1 as fast as possible to just get whatever units out as quickly as he can on the board for a follow-up attack. Now, this might be playing into James's hands here with these MGs. He's got 2 badgers cooking. You know, typically we see some pigeons with the badger. Pigeons are like the healing unit. We don't see him this game, though. But are these turrets going to be enough to slow Kalaru down for these big, juicy tier 3 units to get out? James got to play this very carefully. This is Kalaru's now or never moment. He wants to deal crippling damage here. And he's starting to get through. Jasquith, thanks for the subscription, man. I appreciate it, boss. And the badger does hit the board, though. And the badger is one of those units that's just a one-man army, or I guess a one-woman army, you should say. As they are canonically, how do you say that? Canonically? Canonically female. I did not say that right, but there you go. But there's 2 of them, which is huge. Canonically, there it is. There it is. Alright, this is looking good for James. Kalaru had to deal crippling damage earlier, and he simply did not. And he doesn't have a lot of follow-up here. He doesn't have any, like, anti-badger repellent spray in the deck, you know? Like, he's got some falcons, which are nice if you get some in large enough numbers. But this army from James is just so much more powerful. I'm really curious as to why he's just not moving out to go slap a nerd here. He's getting his 3rd base up and running. People think lizards are good against Badger for some reason. They are good against Badger if you have high enough numbers, because they're so fast you can't kite them. You know what I'm saying? But you need a lot of lizards for that. A lot of lizards. Like, lizards are good against fox and badger. Maybe wolf? I don't know. There's an argument for wolf. I wouldn't say they're good against owl or boar, obviously. Nice job here, just moving in, getting some damage done with these badgers. And Kalaru is in the dumps here. It's so weird not having a scoreboard. I think this is the 3rd Kalaru versus James match we've seen. Yeah, Kalaru's gonna tap out, and James is gonna take it. I think that was the 3rd match. Let me check. Pretty sure that was the 3rd match. It was the 3rd match. Okay. King James coming in for another win here. All right. So James does take that series against Kalaru, 1-3. Guys, thanks again, as always, for tuning in. While I've got everybody here, your round 2 and 3 matches for the Tooth and Tail League Championship 2020 are due tomorrow. Rounds 2 and 3. If you haven't completed those matches yet, please do so. At your earliest convenience. We need to get those knocked out by tomorrow. This is a really big event. Big shout out to all the tournament organizers and all the other casters and streamers involved. There's actually a lot of people. I think Marbu was streaming. Of course, Woody Pun is streaming it. Jed Erickson is streaming. QQ is even streaming. So we've got a lot of casters trying to cover as much content as we can. And yeah, we really, it takes everybody. We really are relying on everybody to keep things moving nice and smooth so we can progress into round 4. So get those matches done if you have not already. We got a few more here for you tonight. I might actually have some time cast a bit more or something after this, or maybe play a few matches. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I try to do 2 hours. 2 hours every Friday night. Let's get into it, though. Another premier match here between QQ and Eel. In the left, we've got QQ. And over to the right, we've got Eel Luminatus. Alright, I love QQ's deck. I love it, man. It's memery. The meme machine. QQ is a bit of a memester, though, so I'm not surprised. And really, I love this. Actually, you know, since moles are so dangerous, and look at the Illuminatus being a dirty molar here. Look at that. QQ could smell it. He knew. He knew it was coming. I don't think that barbed wire is going to work, though. Oh, and the way that he positioned that Warren. Uh-oh. This is not good. This is not good at all for QQ. QQ, no! That Warren is not defended by the pigs. Oh my god. Is this just over? Is this just game? Oh, now there's 2 moles. Good lord. If I was Eel, I'd just build another Warren. Look at this. They're not as effective against these pigs that are already built. They get crit strikes against structures. Pigs are considered structures while they're building, but not when they're outs. I know it's a bit weird. Okay, alright. That was a bit rough for QQ, but he stabilized. And this is a smart follow-up from Eel. He didn't try to go to straight 8 farms or anything like that. 2 lizards should be able to pick up, no, I think you can do it if there's not 2 extra pigs there. You see what I mean? Like, if 1 pig is in range, I think you got it. Nice sell from Eel. Eel should have just gone for more moles. And I think he could have done it. I think he could have doubled down. Invoked the spirit of DJ. And went totally down the mole rabbit hole. QQ gonna try to transition out, though. I like this. A bit risky. But he's gonna try to build some barbed wire to buffer. Oh, what is he doing? What is going on in this game? Gotta get up to that 8 farms, my man. What is happening? I don't think you're supposed to do this. Alright, he's gonna have a balloon. Can these squirrels sneak by this barbed wire is the question. Man, this, I mean... I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm worried. What if they just walked through the water and went that way? Yeah, he's gonna sneak in and he's gonna target that balloon. That's what I'm saying. I like what he was thinking. I like the concept here. But not gonna work in practice. Eel takes a quick scrappy victory there. What's up, Master Stealth? Good to see ya. Alright, let's hop into QQ versus Eel match 2. Spawning in the bottom, we've got Eel Luminatus, and up top, QQ. Alright, Q. Same deck, same crazy strat. I mean, what's the plan here? Well, the plan is to try to contain my enemy with barbed wire and balloons and such. I've got lizards to run around, be annoying. Lizards are just kind of their own whole strategy, like in and of themselves, in a way. Like, you can just mass lizards, like that's totally viable. Depending on the situation, of course. It's also a very flexible thing to do when the chips are down. You can sell off the rest of your stuff, build up a bunch of lizards, and try to base race them. But ferrets, I love ferrets. They're one of my favorite units, but they're not the best in direct engagements here. That's where you want something like a skunk or chameleon. So this is a very greedy build by QQ, I'd have to say. If the map is good for him, he can maybe work wonders with some well-placed balloons and barbed wire, and then you get out the falcon and the ferrets and you just poke him to death. Or if that strategy doesn't work, you got the boar. So he's kind of got like 3 different strategies he can go for within this deck. You know, you can kind of go mass tier 1 lizard, you can go for a 1 to 2 base boar push, or you can go for a hard siege contain with the ferrets and foxes and defense and stuff. Rocking the emotes in chat. Bam. Love it. Okay. Yeah, if you guys were ever curious where my Discord icon came from, it is from this game. There's a great artist, Glorious AFB, he made my little Twitch icon. He's done a whole bunch of artwork for the scene. Hey, that's something he made for me. The lizards moving in. Gotta deny this this base here. I kind of wasn't paying attention. I wonder why Eel got caught with his pants down so much there. I'd assume he'd be able to defend that, but no. Nice little early game victory there for QQ. 8 farm expands here too. Ah, I see. Can eels wear pants? You're asking the right questions here. I mean, you could have like 1 eel and both the pants legs, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Double eel it. 2 eels, 1 jeans. So much barbed wire here from QQ. They are cheaper than they used to be. I think it's only 10 food per pop nowadays. But in general, if I'm getting back to like serious analysts here, serious Delthius. If I'm eel and I come in and I see all this barbed wire and I see my opponent going for for greed, then I can say, fine, I can take even more farms than you without investing in defense and get more ahead. And this is not exactly the map QQ is looking for with this mass lizard style. There's not, he wishes that there were more backdoor entrances, to be perfectly honest. But there's a boar on the way, which is going to deal nicely with these lizards. And Eel has not scouted that, so the pain can be very real there. Some snakes coming in. I don't know. I think we're finishing up a little early here tonight. I could ask the tournament organizers for another batch of replays. I could do some playing. You guys want to see me play some ranked? It's always snakes, man. Got skunks on the way. Fox on the way as well. QQ's crazy master plan might be coming together here. He's got a third base on the way. Eel has no idea what his opponent's doing outside of building barbed wire and lizards. And gets a good scout, but unfortunately doesn't see anything with it. Play some ranked Rocket League. No Master Stealth. If there's more matches, I think I'd rather do that. Just to show them off. So if you get a pack of intermediate matches, you can send them my way if you'd like. So Badger almost here. Because yeah, I think there's only like one game left after this. So I should be able to do another best of 5, I think. I do kind of want to play, but at the same time, I think it's more important to get to as many matches for our lovely players so they can get casted. Double Fox. What is happening here, QQ? I don't know. I don't even know anymore. What are you doing? What are you doing here? This could work. This is crazy enough to work, maybe. But Eel has access, or yeah, he has access to 3 bases. You know, this isn't... The problem here is that this isn't... Well, I guess QQ will get 4, right? So if QQ drags it out long enough, you'll have a whole extra base worth of economy, which is quite nice. QQ selling everything off, going up to the triple Fox. Oh man, this is a weird game. This is not what things normally look like for any new viewers out there. We're getting a bit silly. Fox is on the board, gonna start poking and prodding. Does he actually get vision? He needs to put a balloon a little bit closer, because that balloon gives you such a large vision range. It's very deadly walking into high ground blind with the Fox like that, especially when your opponent has snakes, because the snake will get a stack of poison on the Fox and it's dead. It just dies immediately. One hit's all you need, because it slows it down. 2 Foxes though. 3rd Fox on the way. This is going to be death by 1,000 paper cuts. He really needs to get another balloon on these front lines. That would be so huge. This balloon is going to counter these Foxes so hard though, but he needs to get these ferrets out. These ferrets can attack the balloon while it's still building. Get up there, QQ. He sells it, but he's going to trigger Eel to move. This is not what he wants, because he doesn't really have an army. He's just got like a bunch of cardboard cutouts, pretending like he has an army. Yeah, so the Fox cannot hurt buildings. They can only attack units. And the ferrets are kind of like siege tanks. They can hit stuff on the ground, but not in the air. So these balloons, while they're building, they're a structure on the ground, right? But once they are finished constructing, they're obviously flying. So QQ can only really attack these balloons when they're on the ground here. And once these balloons get up, like, this is just gonna stop this poke, like, completely. QQ can't do anything about those balloons. Gonna get out board number 2. Ferrets crushing down. Ooh, nice shot there. Yeah, he sees a little bit of this high ground, which is nice. I guess the pigs are kind of in range, you know? Good job from Q, just finding whatever angles he can get. How is Eel? Oh, Eel's response is just 5 badgers. Dude, this is such a crazy game. This is a tournament match in the Premier League, by the way. And we're gonna see 5 badgers. So that's cool. I'm a fan of that. I can dig it. That's gonna be 10 tier 3 out on the map. Do a little fast forwarding here. Oh, lizard run by. If he had 12, he'd be able to snipe this, but he's just instead gonna deal some serious pig damage here. Gonna trade out these lizards entirely. Yeah, I think 12 is like the magic number. If you got 12 lizards, you can come in and just focus down the mill, I believe. So many balloons. It's too many balloons. Too many balloons in my book. This is where the game gets really weird. And we're probably gonna have a starvation match here, so killing these pigs, in hindsight, might have just saved Eel. Because what's gonna happen in a stalemate situation is you have to always be farming in this game. If you stop farming, you starve and you die. It's part of the lore of Tooth and Tail. It's a big war for food, basically. Ooh, these foxes almost getting caught out of position by these lizards who are gonna try to run into these barbed wire, but get absolutely roasted by the boars here. Oh, the badger's trying to come up, but these balloons are just annihilating them. Oh my god, QQ. You mad genius. Is this crazy enough to work? That was huge. Huge victory there. But yeah, we might get into starvation mode. So what happens then is farms last for 5 minutes. So it's like, I'm going to save a couple, like if I save like 3 farms on a base, for example, I can take them one at a time and prolong my life by close to 18 minutes. However, most matches of Tooth and Tail are just over by now. This is like late game Tooth and Tail at the 10-minute mark. For sure. You know, I was saying earlier, Massa, if QQ didn't kill all these pigs, then Eel wouldn't have any starvation farms. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, QQ's got this whole 4th base. He's good to go. But this is getting stalematey. So we will be fast-forwarding until action happens. Another move out here by the Badger Brigade, trying to blast their way in, but you just can't. You can't do that against that many balloons, my guy. Look how fast that just got shredded. Oof. Oof. Big oofs. Yeah, and he's eventually going to tap out, knowing QQ in it for long. He was almost playing like a control deck in Magic the Gathering, you know? He's just like, you know what? You can't do anything. You might be wondering, what do you do against 13 balloons? And the answer is you don't let them get there. It's one of those kind of things. It's like when somebody masses carriers in Brood War or something. It's like, how do you stop 15 carriers from the Protoss? You're not supposed to let them get 15 carriers, man. I don't know what to tell you. Okay, we do have more matches coming in. Let me check my... Parsival versus Premium would be cool. I don't think we'll have enough time for that, maybe. Let me load up a couple more here. I believe these are some intermediate matches. And I think this is an actual intermediate series, so I can be fancy and use my scoreboard and all that. Yes. Yes, okay, so that's a proper series, best of 5. So we'll go into that, but we've got one more of the best of Premier Leagues, round 2 and 3. Let's take a look at a game from Jacoby real quick. So in the rights, we've got Jacoby and his opponent up top, QQ. Okay, we see some moles, so I'm gonna watch. Sometimes I'll miss early game action because I'm so used to the 8 farm meta, where like the first minute or so I just kind of gotta buy time. But we might see some shenaniganery here from Jacoby, and QQ knows it as well. He's being very careful. Look at this. He's just looking for moles. Like, where's the mole rush? Doesn't see it. And scouting is very, very important. Even in these early phases of the game, you need to know exactly what your opponent's up to. And yeah, so we've got an 8-farm opening here from both sides. Let's see how the players want to go from here. There's a lot of options. Most likely what we'll see is either 8-farm double tier 1. We'll see 8-farm into tier 1 into tier 2. We could see a very quick second base. Let's see what these guys decide to do. Yeah, it looks like Jacoby's going to take a fast expo. Nice little mine by QQ. I actually don't know if Jacoby's aware of those mines. He probably is. Probably is. The one squirrel is just going to get deleted immediately. So actually a pretty heavy tier 1 opening from both sides here. Now Jacoby just trying to fake out his opponent and does take that mill. Needs to be careful though, because you're kind of faking your opponent out into a response that could get you in hot water if you're not careful here. As QQ still route. Okay, QQ's really serious. He's taking this gristmill to tank some hits. He wants to commit to this fight. And Jacoby's fine. You can defend when you have a mill. You just can't build any farms. Oh, I don't know. Actually, now he built a tier 2. That's probably too greedy to get the mill and the tier 2 when your opponent is just slamming down squirrels. If QQ keeps the heat on, this could be real bad for Jacoby. Actually, you know what? Jacoby might be okay because the skunks are almost out. Yeah, skunk number 1 is here. And skunks are going to just annihilate this. The skunks are exactly what you want against Mass Squirrel. And QQ is not going to be happy. Did he even scout the Warren? Yeah, he didn't scout the Warren. Oh, those mine hits are pretty big, though. Nice job by QQ. Rallying forward. He's still got several squirrels left. A lot of them are hurt, though. Needs to be careful. He just target fire down that Warren straight up. Took some losses to do so. However, that's really going to make reinforcements here for Jacoby that much harder. 2 tier 1 Warrens going down. QQ needs to be careful, though. He's got pigeons, which are very nice to help mitigate against the skunk gas here. Really trying to target fire down that skunk. Those skunks are Jacoby's lifeline into this game. Propelling the attack for now. QQ needs to be careful. He needs to get some really good target fire. One skunk is going to go down, but at the cost of all of his squirrels. Nice defense here by Jacoby. Now he's starting to get some momentum. Damn, QQ is so confident he even built a farm on this forward Warren. He is 100% committed here. There's no turning back. And the big target here is that skunk. That skunk is dealing all the AoE damage to these squirrels here. This is looking better and better for Jacoby. He's got 2 skunks out again. He's starting to get up to a decent amount of squirrels. This mine hit is going to be big, but is it going to be enough? One skunk falls. The other one should live. That skunk gas, it does barely go down, but that skunk gas just got its job done. Jacoby's got plenty of squirrels left over. Going to get some real damage done. Knocking out a pig. Knocking out a Warren. Needs to be careful not to overcommit, though. The skunk defense here from Jacoby has been on point. Going to reinforce with some moles. I like that decision. That mole Warren going to produce units a little bit faster. And that's what he needs. He needs boots on the ground right here, right now. And man, this skunk gas is just such value. Much wow, this game. Nice target fire there from QQ, knocking that skunk out yet again. He's killed several of them. But not before they get their jobs done. Yeah, it is true, Obscuchin. That extra farm from QQ really helping out a lot. Especially now that we passed the 5-minute mark and we lost 4 of our initial farms. So, 6 to 5, it's a big difference. Both players even trying to get more farms. I'm surprised QQ... Well, I guess it makes sense. Like, I was going to think maybe he could try to get into some of his own tier 2, like the ferret or something. But I don't think he's got any wiggle room to do anything but put the pedal to the metal here. Like, he's so committed. He's got to get damage done. And he's doing a good job, like, knocking these skunks out. But this is where you'd really... This is where just having squirrels in the tier 1 slot, like, I don't really count pigeons. This is where that hurts, right? Because if he had Squizzard, he'd be handling this much more effectively. Man, this game is getting scrappy. We're at the 6.5-minute mark, and it's just been non-stop action the entire time. QQ still moving in, still trying to kill these skunks, but I don't know. I don't think it's happening anymore. These skunks are so tanky, too. They have 30 HP. One does go down. Oh, but he misses the mines. QQ really needed him to hit those mines and delete that skunk. But no, another pig going down. Man, I feel bad for you, Premium Bow. There's no one to ban in this community. Like, we very rarely, like, knock on wood, I guess, but we very rarely get anyone rude or obnoxious. It's a bunch of high-quality nerds in the Tooth and Tail scene. Like, I don't think I've ever really even banned anyone on this channel, now that I think about it. I think I've banned, like, a couple spam bots, you know, that come into smaller channels and, or, you know... But that doesn't really count. Oh, there's the big hits on the skunks he's been looking for. Finally! Both skunks going down. That would be 40 seconds to rebuild. Jacoby selling off some warrants. That could have been the big turning point. QQ's been waiting for something like that, but he just doesn't have enough. He's really hoping that these 4 farms will help. Man, those mine hits were juicy. But unfortunately for QQ, he just didn't have the units to follow it up with. And Jacoby selling off the other parts of his army to ensure that he gets these skunks out. These skunks being the answer for Mass Squirrel makes sense. Even doing a bold move there, getting rid of that mine. This skunk is hurting, and it is gonna live at 1 HP. Picking off a pig. This is crazy. This is a crazy game. We're at the point where, like, every farm, every food matters. Every squirrel has value. Normally these poor folks are just food for the fodder. Every squirrel is sacred. And Jacoby moving in yet again. Good skunk gas here. Pushing forward. And QQ, maybe this time around, he just doesn't have enough to hold. More pig damage is going on. He gets a skunk, which is nice. Those skunks are 60 bucks. This forces Jacoby to sell a farm just to make sure he can continue to reinforce with units. I think QQ is running out of steam. He thinks so as well. Jacoby takes the game very patiently. Well done. Okay. Okay, guys. We have time for a little bit extra. So what we're going to do is go into some intermediate matches. I got to set up my scoreboard. Just give me 1 second. I guess I can use this time to hark on you again. If you have not completed your round 2 or round 3 matches, please do so tonight. If not tonight, then by tomorrow. The deadline is here. We're ready to move on to round 4. Alright, what do we got here? Who are we playing? Marmu versus Dash? Marmu versus Dash. I think this works. Bam. Bam. Wrong thing. Why am I black screening? Shouldn't be a black screen. That's not good. Alright, why is that happening? Game capture. Okay, give me a sec. Game capture. What's happening with the game capture? Why are we black? Why do we have a black screen? Does that need to be up there? I am so confused. Look at me being an awesome broadcaster here. Okay. Game capture. That is correct. Tournament should not be a black screen. I don't blame me. I blame OBS. Capture full screen. Okay. Let me sort this out. Why is that happening? All right. What can I do about that? Can I restart Tooth and Tail? Let me give a break screen real quick. Little quick break screen. Let's try to restart the game. Sorry, a little technical difficulties here. As my tournament game capture should work. Okay, that should capture the game. Oh, are we just not working at all anymore? Is that where we're at? Okay, that works. That's nice. Okay, what is happening? Give me just a second. It's probably not even worth it at this point. What can I do this? I do that, and then go over here and do that. Holy guacamole. I wasn't expecting to have, Oh, wait. Oh, I figured it out. I don't want to tell you guys what the problem was, because it's super embarrassing. But I figured it out. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Oh, wait. Darn it. Yeah, so my wife's computer, my wife streams, and her computer was down for a little bit, so she used mine, and she came in my OBS and screwed up with all my settings. But I figured it out, you guys. Sorry about that. Oh gosh. All right, so we've got a best of 5 here. It was not wrong order layer. If you want to know, Casey had turned everything off on that one scene capture. You know what I mean? Like, you can toggle visibility on the source. So like when I flopped over to the source, typically when I do a flop over from one scene to the other, like that happens, right? Like those are 2 different scenes I have. And everything was turned off but her stuff. I guess she like picked that one to put her stuff in. So yeah. Sorry about that, guys. I should still be up on Steam too, I think. Yes, I am. Alright, welcome Steamers. That didn't sound right. Okay, anyways. Enough Delthius flailing here. Yeah, I'm probably the worst broadcaster in the scene by far. It's not even close. I don't know why I'm even doing this. Okay, all joking aside, let's hop into it. We've got intermediate best of 5 match here from either round 2 or 3. I'm not sure. Let me check. I'll take a quick look. This is a round 2 match between Marmu and Dash. Marmu, one of the tournament organizers, and Dash I've never heard of. So unless that's someone playing under an alias, could be a new player to the scene. And let's hop into it. Oh, it's like a literal dash. Okay. In the top right, we've got Marmu. And in the bottom left, we've got Dash. Like, hyphen. Is his name hyphen or Dash? Dash is a cooler name. Right? Like, that's a solid, like, esports gamer handle. Right? Like, I'm going to enter this Overwatch tournament. My name's Dash, you know? Or, that's a solid, like, Brood War name. I was trying to think of some cool, like, Korean StarCraft handles that had to do with drumming. And I thought snare was pretty good, you know? Like, snare, that's a solid South Korean StarCraft professional name. Or there's a guy named Tempo. Like, Tempo is a really cool music gamer tag. I should have claimed that one. I screwed up. It could have been Tempo. Speaking of Tempo, nothing crazy yet in this match. We got 8 farm openers from both sides. Yeah, I know. Tempo's a dude. It's already a thing. Alright. I think our levels are okay. Tempo. Some lizards coming out, some squirrels coming out. Nothing crazy. There we go. There's a decision being made. Early expand coming out here from Dash. Not crazy. Not like 8 farm into Expo. He went 8 farm more in Expo, which is a bit more reasonable. But Marmu is going to move out and try to punish this. But Dash is in position with his squirrel. Should be able to keep him away for now. Okay, Marmu is going to double down here on the tier 1, moving forward. Gonna try to get something done. Maybe he can with some really good micro. But Dash is not being overly greedy here. That Toad didn't get a ton of value. Yeah, nice defense from Dash. On paper, Dash should be fine. The farm is a little bit is a bit dicey. I think if Marmu continues to just throw down Squizzard, he can get overrun. But now that if I'm Dash and I saw the tier 2 coming out, I'd be very happy. If I'm Dash, because I took the farm, I think he's even got room to take another farm. It's going to go for his own tier 2 instead. I think so far Dash is playing this quite nicely in the early game. Meanwhile, Marmu is a bit behind, but not much. He does have the tech lead. He's going to catch up on second base here. He can feel just fine about grabbing 2, even 3 farms. I'd like to see 2 at the minimum. 3 if you're feeling crazy. And he's going to have some cams out, and the cams will be nice to push forward. Toads do trade pretty well with the cams, and I think snakes will do good against that also. So needs to be a bit careful. The power of the ooze, that is true. How many ooze we have? We have Airlu, we've got Haru, we've got Kalaru, Marmu. We need more. We need a whole team of them. Definitely not an Uwu, though. I refuse to cast your game if your name is Uwu. It's a $500 penalty. Ferrets coming out here. Double tier 2 for Marmu. Meanwhile, Dash is going up to a straight 8 farms, and this is good. Like, if Dash can get away with this, he's going to skyrocket out in the mid game. Now, Marmu is not super behind, and going for the tier 3 as well. That's pretty cool, but Dash should scout it. No, he's not going to see it here. Yeah, Marmu's in. Oh, is he going to get in? He does get in, and he does see it. He sees the ferrets as well. That's very important. Marmu being very greedy with his tech, just going straight up to tier 2. I think Dash is playing a bit more conservatively here. I think this, and this is a really good response from Dash as well. Who is Dash? Dash can't be a beginner. This is a really good play for a beginner. Marmu getting up to that second base full saturation as well. Now would be a good time to kind of come in with these ferrets and poke and prod a little bit, but what he wants to do is make a big push out with this boar, which makes sense against all this tier 1. However, Dash is transitioning out of that a little bit. God, these ferrets got so much value. 2 pigs going down at once. He almost got a third, but that pig just kind of barely nonchalantly moved out of the way just in time. Okay, Marmu going to continue to siege down with these ferrets. This is the strength of the ferret, really. The ferret wants to get its value in between the big engagements by doing things like this. And probably rather it would pick up a pig there, but get a little bit of damage on the mill is never bad. Of course, it will regenerate over time. So many snakes, though. Like, I wonder if you're Marmu, do you just sell out of the boar after you see that many snakes? That's a lot of snakes. That's a whole pile of them. That's a whole handful. Could you think you could hold 8 snakes in one hand? I don't think so. That's at least 2 handfuls of snakes. And if you got 4 snakes in each hand, something's going on. Man, I saw a video online today of this like 8-year-old kid wrangle a snake in a chicken coop, like lasso it around its neck with like a little piece of string. That's when I realized that kid is more of a man than I am. Here comes Marmu. He's moving in, all snakes aside, and the boar is gonna get a crazy amount of value just spreading through. Yeah, the boar is eventually gonna get poisoned and taken out, but so does Dash's second base, so does the snakes. And I think this is because look how greedy Dash has been. He's even got that third base over there. I don't think Marmu's aware of it. I wasn't aware of it until just a minute ago. And yeah, Marmu really just kind of steamrolling over there. I think Dash was playing a very good game until he got that third base and invested so much into it. He really needed more army to contest. And Marmu kind of poking in with those ferrets, kind of getting a sense and a feel for things, realized he had an opening, and went in for the kill. Nicely done. Let's hop into match number 2. Spotting on the left, we've got Dash. His opponent to the right, Marmu. Hey, don't be mad, Marmu. A B+ from Premium Bo is a pretty good rating. I think he gives me a F-. Alright, you got Badger this time around. That should be pretty cool. Squirrel Toad, Squode, as we say in the business. And yeah, we got a nice little variety here in the decks. I like that both players kind of have one of that core tier 2, you know, between the Chameleon and the Skunk. And then they have more of a flavorful bit of tier 2 as well in the form of Ferret and Snake. Flavor wasn't really the word I was looking for, but I guess something that really defines your deck a little more, you know? Chameleon isn't really a deck-defining unit. Chameleon's just like, all right, you know, throw him in there. It's a good unit. Dell's so bad I can't give him a grade that reflects his skill. Yeah, that sounds about right. If I took the test, I'd like, not only would I miss every question, but I'd like misspell my name, you know, on the top. So you'd have to give me like a -3. 8 farms for both sides here. 8 farm double from Dash. And this is pretty small rush distances. This is an awkward map a little bit for Marmu. I guess he can take his natural over here, which would be pretty cool. But trying to expand out here in the front would be very difficult, as Dash can easily take this natural here, control this high ground, and just have a huge advantage over that low ground mill. So far, nothing crazy. Well, to be fair, like 8 farm tier 1 is a little crazy. I mean, 4 tier 1 rather. That's a decent investment. They're both kind of stuck slowing the game down a little bit with this. You know, 4 farm tier 1 opening can punish an opponent going very, very greedy, but since both players went for it, you kind of get stuck in that like Spider-Man meme where you're pointing at each other, you know. And tier 2 is a choice for Marmu. Meanwhile, Dash gonna try to get up to an expansion. And this attack, I don't know about this attack. Let's see if it works out for him. The Toads, if the Toads get some good connections, which they do, but with Defender's advantage here, Marmu's gonna clean this up nicely. This does, well, there is one thing this does for Dash, which is kind of cool, is buy some time for his second base to get up and running. You know, now that he just traded armies, he's prevented Marmu from being able to attack out until he rebuilds. And probably not intentionally, but another thing nice that happened there for Dash is he really delayed this Chameleon. This Chameleon's been supply blocked for years now, when it's finally getting going. I'm worth 1.2 masses. It's a pretty good rate. It's a pretty good rate. I don't know, man. The stocks are down. Does that mean I'm worth more or less? Oh man, I didn't even notice this hidden base from Marmu. I've got the derps a little too much now. And he's got 4 farms up there, which is very, very good. Dash hasn't even got a full scout of the map. He's not even aware of that mill to begin with. Might scout it out. He sees the obvious mill choice, which is nice. This is kind of giving Dash some wrong information. Dash might feel like he's up against a one-basing opponent. He might feel like perhaps there's a tier 3 being built, something like that. Look at this juicy, half-saturated second base over here for Marmu. And he just doesn't see... Oh, I thought Marmu was about to catch that snake. Look at him just wiggling along. He's going to get there, though. And this could be a big engagement. These toads crashing forward. But I think it looks like Marmu's going to hold just fine. This chameleon on the front. Oh, does he get the re-stealth on the chameleon? No, he doesn't, unfortunately. Losing a chameleon there, but trade you'll take any day of the week. Gonna punish him even further. That's just another 60 food down the drain there for Dash. And Dash is probably thinking, okay, you know what? That wasn't a good engage for me, but at least I got the better economy. And he doesn't. He doesn't because this 12 o'clock base. I mean, you could argue, I guess, he does a little bit. But not by a lot. There's a lot of odd phrases in Tooth and Tail casting Altpa. That's for sure. These poor toads stick a dynamite on their back and lay their life down for the common folk, for the people. Oh, Dash finally finds it. How's he gonna respond? You want to be careful about sending your whole army up here. It'll put you out of position very heavily. Ideally, you send something like a couple chameleons up there, or some lizards, something of that nature. Meanwhile, Marmu's chameleons, Metal Gear Solid Snake up in here. Gonna come in. Oh, started getting some damage done, but no, Dash is tired of screwing around. He's just gonna press forward. A couple of those squirrels hitting the mines, but the Warrens are starting to fall. These toads actually crashing down on the Warrens and not the units. And Dash has a lot here, but look at these 4 chameleons from the back. Gonna wreck-a-roni that nerd. And Marmu's gonna go up 2-0. The top base is actually safe, I think, says Obscution. Yeah, I agree. I think in that situation it was safer than it looked because Dash didn't really have any good units. Units that are good at just like splitting off and taking care of that, you know? Alright. Alright. Let's keep it going. Match number 3. Up top in the 1 o'clock position, we've got Dash playing as Hopper. In the bottom left as the quartermaster, we've got Marmu. Let's see how they want to play this one out. Pretty decent looking map here. I like it better for Marmu. He can take this natural if he wants to be more aggressive. He can take this if he wants to be safer. Like, this is actually an amazing map for Marmu. It's not horrible for Dash, right? Like, Dash can take this base, so you can get the 2 bases. And 9 times out of 10, 2 bases all you need. Like, you gotta at least have that expansion. If you don't, if you're stuck on 1 base, that really, really limits the strategies you can go for. But my rule of thumb when it comes to these randomly generated maps is, hey, as long as both players have access to a natural, all's fair game. These other bases actually don't belong to Dash on this low ground. It would be very difficult for him to take those. And if he does ever manage to take these bases, he's probably got so much tempo in the game already. Hold that thought as I do what I do so often, ramble on to buy some time. When something is actually happening, we got a 6 farm double here. Got some early pre-8 farm aggression. Dash is moving in. And Marmu is not primed to defend this. You don't really want lizards on defense here. You'd much rather have squirrels. And this one Warren actually not in pig firing range. Hopper gladly sacrificed there. Goes down to target that Warren, and without being microed, that wasn't bad for Dash on the retreat there. He picks up a pig, he trades okay. So overall, that was a good early attack for him. But I'm worried for Dash if this game gets too long, because Marmu's got a very clear 1, 2, 3, and even 4 bases here, right? And he can take this base as a second, or this one. It's kind of dealer's choice. But Dash really only has access to this base. These other two are just too close to this one. And I was about to say, unless he really gets out on the map and just claims this area. And if that's the case, this map flips back into Dash's favor. If Dash can say, no man, I control all these mills here, you're stuck to the mills down here, then all of a sudden Dash has flipped this to be a map that's in his economic advantage. But this is going to be difficult for Marmu, or for Dash to pull this off. Marmu's got the high ground advantage here. I guess this ramp from the main is pretty good for this base. Yeah, I like this a lot from Dash. If he can hold on to this ground, he can deny Marmu from taking this base. He can eventually start getting onto this high ground right here. It's going to be difficult for him to attack in either these directions, because this water is going to slow you down. You're going to be fired on by high ground units. This choke is going to put you in a concave versus convex situation, which you never want. And Dash being kind of greedy. We've seen this consistently from this player. It must be more of an eco-styled contestant here. He likes to get up to these big farms, and I think that was his downfall in his first game, to be honest, was he really, like, I think he was playing a phenomenal match at Tooth and Tail, really staying one step ahead of Marmu as far as eco went, you know, not being too greedy, that sort of thing. But then he just kind of lost that filter with the third base, in my opinion, and just invested in like an entire third base as Marmu pushed in with that tier 3. So the greed was eventually his downfall. But this time around, both players being kind of mackery, kind of playing standard, getting out some powerful tier 2 units like cams, building up a bunch of tier 1, getting half saturation on the second. And Dash is posturing for an attack here. Let's see if he can get the job done. Lots of units in position for Marmu here. But Dash is crashing through. I was not expecting this. I thought Marmu would hold just fine. And Marmu's starting to take some real damage. Losing a Warren, losing 3 pigs. Dash, I think, just wants to sack his army for another Warren, maybe. He's overextending now, which Marmu really needed, because now Marmu's got some room for a counterattack, even backed up by these ferrets, and the ferrets are going to be very powerful in smaller skirmishes. Yeah, I think that was going really well for Dash, and then he overextended and gave Marmu the opportunity for a counterattack here. And this map is so small that the rush distances are very minute, so that counterattack window is huge. Marmu pushing back. I think he's still got the tempo here, but he's reinforcing. Taking his time. I like this a lot. Putting these ferrets to work. And Dash knows what's up from there. Gonna tap out. (3-0) there for Marmu. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for the show. Look at that. Perfect timing there. Right into the 2 hours. Ending right at 8 o'clock. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, everybody, I really appreciate it. It's always fun hanging out with you nerds, and it's pretty good viewership tonight, so I'm happy. Thanks all the new people that came in. Thanks to my couple guildies in chat. You guys are awesome. Lots of people on Steam as well. If you're on Steam or checking this out, you're not super familiar with Tooth and Tail, I can't recommend enough. Join the Pocketwatch Discord. That's really where all the action's happening, where you can find out about cool events like this, where you can find people to play with. You know, the multiplayer ranked, it's normally pretty active, but you know, if you're having problems, you can just go into the Discord. You'll find someone to fight you, no problem. And that's it. Yeah, don't forget, guys, round 2 and 3 ends tomorrow. So please finish up your championship matches if you haven't already, so we can get round 4 underway. And that is it. Yeah, no tooting allowed. Nobody else streaming Tooth and Tail at the moment? Who am I going to give a big host-a-roni to? Let's go say hi to Misk Liquor, an old school Tooth and Tail man playing some Sekiro. Let's go watch him die as he tries to ninja. Don't I slash raid? Is that a slash or is it exclamation mark? I think it's slash. I think that worked. Why does it not let me raid? I don't care if it's intended for mature audiences. Host? Oh, there it is. We're already going. Well, see everybody later. I guess I hosted a bit too soon. So take care, guys, if you're watching the VOD. I'll see y'all next time.